Hello and welcome to ChinnyVision 2, the secondary channel to ChinnyVision, where I do rough and ready videos. And this is what I've wanted to do for a very, very long time. And you'll see there's stuff laid out on the desk here. I have dusted, although evidently not very well. In these pouches here are two things I got out the cupboard in the office today. I've hung on to them for... One of them over 25 years. Let's just check which one's in which. Ah, good. Because we have, and you'll have guessed it from the title, a Minidisc player. In fact, we have two Minidisc players. We'll look at the other one in a minute. Minidisc player, Minidisc recorder. And this is my original one, purchased, I think, 1999. For the ATRACs out there, it is an MZR-55. Portable mini disc, and if you see there, silver unit, came from Tandy. No, it didn't. I lie. It came from the Sony Centre. Now, I need to give some background to why I was buying one of these in 1999, because it said all over YouTube, Minidisc was the format that failed, and it failed because there was no pre-recorded or very little pre-recorded music available on it. Well, that's true for the consumer sector, but in the professional sector, radio broadcasting and all sorts of things like that, where you needed to gather audio, these things were a huge success. At one point, you'd go in any radio studio, or nearly anywhere, there would be a Minidisc player in there along with a DAT. Steve Wright, for many years, used to play all his jingles out from Minidisc, even when they moved studio to the new studios over the road from Broadcasting House. Steve insisted his Minidisc player came with him, and only eventually was he persuaded to switch over to playing stuff out on computers, because they were like cartridges, so he could just use them like he used to use the old NAB cartridges, the NABs. So, yes. So I got this in the Sony Centre, 1999, because I was doing a degree in basically audio and video production. And we used to go out and do interviews and use these big recorders made by Marantz, and they were cassette recorders. Big chunky things, lead acid batteries in them. You were never quite sure how much battery you were going to get out of the one you'd been issued from the kind of technician's dungeon. You'd plug your microphone in it, you'd go out and record. And the Marantz players are very collectible today. They are, along with the Sony portable ones, they're superb units. Not when they've been bashed around for years and used by students, but they were superb units. But they were recording onto cassette with all the audio quality issues associated with that. That said, the Marantzes could cope with chrome and even metal tapes if you could stretch to that. But I could see, kind of end of 98, a few people, in fact one person, who had one of these, and he had the big chunky one with the kind of extra bit off the end. And I thought, I want me some of that. So initially, in fact, I got a hi-fi unit for home with the idea that it was a small hi-fi unit made by Sharp. And I could take that with me, plug a Marantz into it, but instead of recording to cassette, I would use the Marantz as a microphone amplifier and then record onto Minidisc. And I think there's probably some audio around here somewhere that I recorded that way. But yeah, and then when I had a bit more money, I bought this. Although actually I didn't buy this initially. I bought one of the chunkier ones from Tandy, the older model. And the problem with that was I suddenly realised I was down at the Sony Centre in town and realised the reason the ones in the Sony Centre were slightly more expensive was because they were these smaller units. So I took my chunky unit back to Tandy, got my money back, and then went down to Sony Centre and got this, which this was my main Minidisc for, how long did this last me? I used it a lot. I think it was from 1999 to 2004. No, 2003. Because this stopped recording, which is a fault that seems to come to Minidiscs when they were used a lot. The recording bit would fail. But we will come on to that. But this thing's really nice. you can see how well it's worn, and this thing's been with me everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. It's been in planes. It's been in gliders. It's been in all sorts of situations. As I say, it got used so much that I managed to basically burn out the recording part of it. I think it still works. I think it still plays. We can give it a go, but we're proper discing. We'll give it some power. You can get these neat little adapters these days that run it from USB, because these things are powered from, and I don't have one because it's long deceased. They're all powered from a nickel metal hydride battery, a stick cell. They don't make them anymore. You can find them online. They'll be old stock. They won't work. Which went in there that gave you quite a, I don't think I ever timed it really, but you got a considerable amount of time from that. And then you can add on a little expansion thing on the side. I know this one used 2 AAs. This is my other one that went on the side that extended the battery, and you can just start add on AAs. The newer units would use these single ones. The older ones like this I don't have it anymore. It had a double AA holder, which made it the same size as the older Sony unit. Is it going to power? Are you going to power? Power bank? Come on. Are you going to power? Do I need to plug that in and out again? I'll stick a disc in it. This should work. Worked last time I put it away, but we will. What do I do when that says? Oh, it's spinning. I can hear life. It is. It's working. It's working. Got an LCD display there. You can see there. Don't plug any audio into it. Press play. Starts counting up. Got buttons for your display there telling you how much is remaining. Got a level meter there, if you can see that, bouncing up and down. You can actually edit on these as well, very crudely. A mate of mine used to do that for certain things, but I wouldn't. You have a line in around the side that doubles up as an optical, a mic input there, which you've got to make sure really it's got a relatively decent output on the mic. You've got a line out, you've got a mega bass. You've got your remote, which and your headphones, which should. Oh yes, I don't think this is the matching one. It's got this Sony thing on it that if you plug it in, then that should all light up as well. Or perhaps not. No, is it doing? It is. It's working. It's just not powering this. Perhaps the contacts are. Yeah, the display's not coming up on there, but it is actually 4, 5. I can hear the disc going 6. There might just be a power problem there. Probably. I mean, that's an edge connector, isn't it? Kind of thing, isn't it? So that's probably why. So yeah, usually you get your display up there and you can do many of your controls. You've got a hold button to stop these things jogging in your pocket, display, and a pause button and a play button, and this neat little. And you can hear that accessing. You probably can't on that big microphone, but yeah. So you have that. Pretty cool, pretty decent set of headphones as well. They also came with a power supply. Unfortunately, a lot of the power supplies, the cables have rotted away. Mine shorted out basically because just something broke down in the rubber and it all failed. But so I was taking this out, after initially using that Marantz setup, after about 3 months, I thought I can't be lugging a tape recorder around as well as a kind of MIDI hi-fi sized mini disc. I was finding it useful. It's very useful at home, but I then bought, as I say, this and used it for all my assignment work and everything else. And when I started working for radio stations, this came out with me. And what you'd have is, this isn't the microphone I used to use. I used to have a Sony mic. I preferred it over the ones that we were supplied with as loans. But you plugged in your your mic like that. And then you could just do an interview, record, not like Kermit the Frog like that. You don't do that. But you use your mic and you could go anywhere. And I did really with this one. Hopefully I can dig out some audio. I don't know how much original stuff I got. Well, we're going to have a look in a minute and see how much I've got. But yeah, it was really good. One of the problems was actually that if you used a mic like this, it would only record on one side, but you could just double it up in audio and that would be fine because the input is stereo. Is it on this one? Is it the other one that... can't remember now, you see, because there's subtleties between these two units. But I think if I get my cable here, and apologies for any crackling there, because I've got the fader up already, and I shouldn't have the fader up already. Line out. And if I go back to track 1, I don't know what is on this one. I know what I do. I'll PFL it. Therefore, I won't run into any... Ah! I know what this is. Right, put the fader up.
Brian Kilburn, and I represent the Plunderbird 2 team off of Robot Wars. I'm sure you saw us the other week, or hopefully you saw us the other week on telly, when we totally kicked butt and won our programme.
So that, I know what that is. That was me going interviewing as a student with that big Minidisc player and the Marantz, somebody who'd been on Robot Wars and had just been on telly with the Plunderbird 2 team. That was it. They were the Plunderbird 2, based in kind of Alton and Borden area. And I went and interviewed the kind of team leader for that, and I've still got the audio in here apparently, so you could hear that. That's decent quality. If I press the play again.
Well, to start with, my next door neighbour saw a advert in the paper asking for some robot teams. This was 2 years ago, and then he come round to me, asked if I would like to be involved, and thought it'd be great fun just to get involved, maybe get my face on the telly.
So that is 26 years ago. Might have been the start of 2000. Let's say 25 to be generous. And listen to the quality of that. That's what I wanted from this format. No tape hiss, no messing around, no multi-generational stuff. Broadcast quality audio, which is what these gave you. A lot of other people were interested in for music. For me, it was having broadcast quality audio in a small package. So yeah, I went immediately, kind of as soon as I could afford it, because I was a poor student, went and bought this one. And it went all over with me. Do I have anything else hanging around? Most of my Minidiscs have gone. I think I know what this is. And I might need to be careful. Again, PFL the desk. There's been a jump cut because I had to make sure that I could get this queued up correctly, because this is a off-air recording of me doing some emergency stand-in presenting. But I had to make sure I cut out the music, or most of it anyway. Let's give it a go. Goes from Claire to Rob. And if you've got an instant request you want to hear on the radio, give us a call, 01420 544 144, 01428 654 971. We'd love to hear from you. And I better cut that before Top Loader gets me a copyright strike. But yeah, that was directly fed off an FM tuner as I was recorded as I was going out. Again, it's excellent quality. Now, the quality on these isn't what we call CD quality. It uses a compression system called ATRAC, and there's various revisions of that. ATRAC is a lossy compression, it like an MP3, and it compresses the audio and loses bits you can't hear and just messes around a bit with the quality in order to squeeze all the data onto the disc. Because I think, what are these? 140 meg or something like that. Can't remember, but see, this is what ChinnyVision 2 is, because I'm doing this my own experiences, not from a technical kind of research point of view. But yeah, these were just fantastic, and ATRAC gives you 74 minutes on a disc in stereo, and it also gives you double that in mono. But if you've got a newer player, which we will come to, so no disc there, you get long play 2, and in later ones, long play 4, that give you stereo longer play. And this is the, oh no, there's going to be a jump cut because that's fallen down. This is the one I had to buy in 2003 because my other one had stopped recording. It is a Sony Walkman, NetMD. There's a story with NetMD stuff. You can see it's pretty much the same size. Slightly nicer styling. It's only a couple of years, 3 years between these. Slightly smaller. It's a Sony, so they've been, they've worked at it. In actual fact, the mechanism's the other way around on this one because it goes, oh, I've got my disc in there. That's interesting. Put that one back in there. I've left a disc in there. So yeah, that one, because this one opens up, so you can, with a button there like that, then you flip it open. And it's so, I think it's like a rose colour. It looks silvery, but you put it in the light and it kind of changes colour. And these ones are kind of just, hasn't worn as well. There's kind of just slightly, I mean, it might polish up okay, but this one's barely been used really, because since I got this, I stopped working in radio, basically. And so it hasn't got that many hours on it. But yeah, let's put some power in. I'm going to have to jump cut because I've dropped the audio cable on the floor. I'm slightly out of breath. I've been on the floor trying to get this cable up. Right, so on this one, you don't have a line out. But you do have a USB. See? Which was all novel and exciting at the time, because you thought, and you're ahead of me here if you know the NetMD name, that you better take audio on and off it via USB. And yeah, you could put audio from your computer onto the disc, but from the point of view of us production people, you could not take audio via USB from the disc to the computer, which was nuts. And the software, the NetMD software, was incredibly hobbled, slow, and just dreadful. And basically, you never used it once for novelty, just to put some audio onto the disc. But it was much easier just to play it in manually via the optical because, yeah, it just didn't work. But it's a nicer unit. Smaller. The backup battery is smaller. I think you get slightly better battery life as well. I don't know what's on this one. Wakey. Oh, the power bank's gone to sleep, that's why. Power bank goes to sleep if it doesn't think it's got... Oh, there we go. Is it reading it? Is it reading it? Come on. Play. Big got display there, smaller display there. You still got the little spinny disc logo. So yes, controls on the front. Your record controls now on the front there. Oh. I think that's a DAT. I think I'm playing a DAT into a mini disc with that scratching there. I think this is a jingle package from a DAT. I'm going to fast forward it on. Is what this disc is. Probably via the analog. I seem to remember this was just something someone bought a DAT in and went, oh, we got this. So I just... Yeah, this is almost certainly going to be lots and lots of different sings of a jingle package with great big blanks between it because that's how they came from the company. Alton's greatest music, 102 FM, Way Valley Radio. Yeah, I mean, so that's what's on that one then. Would have been recorded on this one, of course. Now, the Minidisc standard means that it has to, each machine sold with the Minidisc logo has to have 6 minutes of buffering for when you're moving it around, either recording or listening. So you're jogging along and it doesn't matter. And these things read ahead and they will store data in their cache for a minimum of 6 seconds. These ones have got more. That one's definitely got more. And therefore it will just be able to seek. And there we go. If we go here, wait for the next jingle.
For Mark's greatest music, Wave Valley Radio.
Now I can feel that seeking when I'm doing that, but it's not disturbing it. It's not causing problems.
The greatest music of yesterday and today.
And actually, if you look on there,
102 FM, Wave Valley Radio.
it's not doing it now, but the power draw went up briefly. So it occasionally goes up to 0.3 watts from a... Let me see if I can do that.
The greatest music of yesterday and
Not going to do it now, is it?
Wave Valley Radio.
No, it might be my imagination, but I can tell you for a fact that doing that will knock a battery out that's in it, especially if you're recording. I once did a glider launch, or I did a feature on gliding, and we did the initial launch on a plane, as you normally, so it's not a lot of G's, you just kind of get gently pulled up in the air, a bit of a jerk when you get pulled away, and then it just kind of goes, you go up in the air. But then we did a winch launch. Now, that killed the entire remainder of the battery in about 20 seconds. By the time we were in the air, the entire thing was flat. And the last thing it does, it managed to record the table of contents, which is the thing these discs have. So a mini disc, you can't just eject it, especially when you're recording, because if you do, it won't have finished writing to the disc, and the last thing you'll record will be trash. Which caught a lot of people out and used to make people say these things were unreliable, and the reality was it was just people doing something stupid. Just, I finished recording, bam, out it comes. And, you're recording, and you do that, and you just get it out. That's it. That's no good. I can do this now, if I get up to right there, that fader, let it play. So that's kind of how quickly it will just stop. And if it hasn't written the table of contents, then as I say, it's gonna be a problem, and you won't be able to get that back. And I know radio reporters who did that, and it's like you just don't. You press stop, you wait, and then you eject, and that's far safer than just kind of randomly doing it. But yeah, lots of forces going on with these. When you're recording or playing, will wear the battery up quickly, especially if you're pulling a lot of G, and it will just eventually, you feel it seeking and trying to keep up because the motor will change speed. That uses more battery power, and then it will eventually just kind of go. But yeah, I mean, look at they're so lovely. They're so lovely. They were so convenient, and this was so revolutionary. Do I have a cassette tape in it? I do. There you go. I mean, even with your smallest audio recorder, slimmest audio recorder, and I don't have a cassette recorder here, but I do have somewhere. Here we go. I have a comparable Walkman for the time, and it's got the thing on the extra battery thing on the side, which is the same as these ones. That's the size comparison, and that doesn't record. Play only. And frankly, it's a lovely unit. And it uses the same gumstick batteries. This is about the same era, isn't it? WM190. I picked this up on eBay years ago. meaning to do something with it. But you know, that compared to that, you know, it's a world of difference, really, isn't it? Even the weight of it. This is heavier. There's nothing to this. This one is heavier. That feels a lot more substantial. But this one feels like there's nothing inside. I think it's some kind of manganese alloy these are made of, which is why they wear so well. And that probably is as well. It feels very similar. That front plastic there. Yeah, this Walkman. The frame of it's metal, but that is possibly. How's it open? How's it open? How's it open? There we go. So that's much more kind of, and that is definitely plastic. And probably not much less than this as well. Because these were, I seem to remember, I think they're about 150 quid for these. You could get cheaper models from other manufacturers, but you know, you want to go Sony because Sony invented the format. So, you know, great devices. I'm going to do some audio tests, which I'm going to do separately, which you're going to see about now. Well, I need to open a Minidisc. I've got this Maxell one. So you pull that, because that's focusing. Always a pain to open. It's been sealed for many years. And, So, I bought this one online, actually. It's not one of my originals. So you get your little J card thingy there. And you get your sticker for the... Oh, that's a J card there. That's your stickers. That's your stickers. There we go. We have a Maxell XL280 Pro disc in this colour. It's not nice. They're nice things. They are nice things. Of course, it will live in there. Jewel case is a bit scratched up already, but I'm going to use this for the audio test. That's in focus, which it probably isn't. Anyway, never mind. Until there's only one left, and then you can basically throw bombs at them like that. And that's not cheating, because the game lets you do that. US Gold rejected a game as being so bad they didn't want to publish it. So it was sent back to Software Creations, and Mike Follin publish it. So it's sent back to Software Creations, and Mike Follin created another version in 1 week. So that's some audio comparisons. You can make your own mind up. Obviously, you've got the YouTube compression going on. And I'm doing this afterwards because I know what the results will be, but you may be quite interested. I've still got some of these discs around as well. Because you get different lengths. Everything moves up to 80 from 74. That was the first kind of disc I had, these colourful Maxell ones, when I got mine in, I'm going to say Curry's, which I think it was. And then it was also, kind of 80-minute discs. And there's also a high MD format as well, which you don't see in the UK, which is a high quality format with more data available on the disc, or more space available on the discs. Frankly, I'm amazed these things still work over 25 years later. They're so robust, and people used to knock them at the time as a format. People used to say, oh, they're not reliable, oh, I lost some audio. I've never, apart from that glider launch, I've never actually lost audio on a Minidisc. And as I say, I did so much stuff on Minidisc that I managed to burn this one, the right heads, out. And these still read 25 years later without a problem. Pop them in, they still work. Let's take another one at random. Desk feed. I PFL that one because I've got no idea what's on it. I used to have a lot more mini discs. Oh, it's the power bank's shut down again. Come on. Give me power, please. Please give me power. There we go. The power bank's got some kind of saving thing. It goes, no power, so I've shut down. 101 minutes of audio on here. Which is it reading? Nothing. I can't play this because my friend will kill me if I play that because he's now quite high up in UK radio. That's some links from a radio show from years ago. I cannot. Let's. Oh, that's being transferred very shortly and being sent to him. We gotta. Right, that's it. We gotta. There we go. Is it not? Oh, hang on.
Point 8. Information update. The world's greatest airshow, Farnborough International 2000, is
there we go. That's
organised by the
2000.
Society of
July
British
2000 this was.
Aerospace Companies. SBAC's stand is located in Hall 4 and showcases some of the activities that make sure UK aerospace companies remain competitive. In addition, the stand will have free demonstration of SBAC's marketing centre and internet.
That music is terrible, and I suspect it was terrible at the time. But again, 25 years ago, and it still just pops in and works, power bank permitting. It's a great format. I absolutely loved it at the time. It was so game-changing, so liberating. Just to transfer. I know it's lossy. I know it's not perfect. You could have DAT or something like that, but £800, £900 for a portable DAT machine, and then you're going to have one in the studio as well. And there's these things are 150 quid. You get a hi-fi unit for about 150 quid, and Sony are continuously developing it. My mate had one of the big Sony hi-fi units that you could plug a PS2 keyboard into, and you could type in your tracks, what you were calling them. Just on the front, you just plug your keyboard in, type in what it was, and it would come up on the display. And Sony were continuously pushing this stuff. They only stopped making mini discs start of this year, I think. I think it's probably only high MD or something now for the Japanese market. But yeah, time has passed. There's better ways to listen to music. Even if you've got one of these, you can't really use it because there's no stick batteries available. You know, you can't really go out for a run with one because, as I say, yeah, no one makes the batteries. Therefore, you've got to run them off a power bank or something else, so you could take a chance on no battery. It might work, it might not. But no, I love them, and I still love them. They're wonderful pieces of engineering. Absolutely fantastic. I'm sorry this has been a rambling video, but it is ChinnyVision 2. I love Minidisc. It really changed my life in terms of work and everything else. I just think there's a reason I've kept these. I could have sold them at the time, especially this one, because it was had 3-4 months use on it, and I wasn't going to. I'd changed jobs and wasn't going to need it anymore. Although this one here in my next job you may remember on Radio 5, if you listened online, you get a message saying you have to tune into AM or satellite or something because we don't have the rights to broadcast this online. There was a fault at my workplace, and they needed a new Minidisc player, and for about 3 weeks, this was playing out the blanking Minidisc for 5 Live on. If you were listening online at some point in 2004, I think it was, they'd requested another service, another feed, and they couldn't. We couldn't order up a Minidisc. They like to send stuff in Minidiscs. It was already getting hard to get hold of the professional. They like the proper professional 1U rack mount ones, and it was going to take weeks to get it. So this sat in a tray in a data center, the power supply on it just going round and round and round. And it did admirably, even though it doesn't record anymore. So there you go. You may have heard the output from this one if you were trying to listen to a football match that didn't have the rights for on Radio 5 in 2004. But anyway, I have waffled on enough. Love them. They're brilliant. And was it a failed format? Certainly not for me. Cheers.